What's going on, guys? Joshua Trax RC, and in today's video I am going to be bringing our 1/16th mini E-REVO back to life. So if you guys are not familiar with this RC, which I'm sure many of you aren't because our channel has grown a lot since the last time we used this RC, basically this is our mini E-REVO, the MERV as some people call it, but we have outfitted this thing with a J-Comsets body, Summit tires. Overall it just looks a lot more aggressive, and we really like the stance and the overall look of this mini monster truck. But some of the issues with this RC is that, one, it is not the most durable in its stock form, and we've done a lot to change things, but we also made some things a lot worse by putting the VXL system that we previously had in the Summit, which we used to have, and that is just a whole fiasco. I'll put a link to a video right up here where we converted our Summit into the E-REVO. It's very confusing, but if you want to learn more about that, definitely check out that video. But basically, the VXL system in a 1/16th Traxxas vehicle is just a bad decision overall. Do not buy that thing brand new, and also do not swap it into one of the brushed models. And I don't even think Traxxas sells the VXL 3M system anymore in their 1/16th models, because I think you have to buy it separately from A-Main Hobbies now, which is completely understandable because it is way too powerful for this small scale of RC because it is not that durable. But with the brush system, which I'm going to be swapping into it, it really is a great RC. So that's the first thing that we're going to be doing, taking out the VXL system, and the main reason why is, one, because it breaks stuff, and two, yeah, that's healthy. That is very healthy. I'll unplug the motor for you guys here so you can see a little bit better as to what I'm trying to show you. Oh, that is not good either. The connector just ripped off. Well, it's a good thing we're not using this thing anymore. You can see the motor shaft, it's a little loose. It's either a bearing blew or the center portion of the shaft with all the magnets and stuff over it. I'm not sure what it's called. Either that blew out or the magnets blew. Something's not right with this motor and it does not work anymore. So yeah, that's why we're making this thing brushed again. So all the parts for this thing should be in here. It looks like they're just kind of sitting in the chassis actually, so hopefully I got everything. But the motor is actually not the only thing wrong with this RC, and that's why we haven't driven in a while, because we didn't really know what to do with this motor. We didn't want to buy a new one because it isn't really meant for this RC, and we also didn't want to just fix it because then we would just end up breaking more parts, like this A-arm right here and then this A-arm right back here. You can see it just completely snapped, both of those. So once I get this RC back together, I'm not going to be able to use it because of those broken A-arms. So I went ahead and got the RPM red arms to go with the kind of red theme we got going with this RC. So these are definitely not going to break, hopefully, and it's going to be a lot better than these stock arms. And as far as that goes, that's the only damage that this E-REVO has, is those two arms, and of course the motor. And now the system that we're going to be swapping into this E-REVO is off of this bash slash, if you guys remember it. It is turned into a parts car basically. So because of that, I'm going to be taking this ESC out of it, which is originally from a E-REVO. It is a 1/16th size ESC. It's the XL 2.5, and I'm going to be taking the motor out of it to put into this RC. And as you can see, we directly soldered the ESC and the motor together. I don't really know why we did that because they plug right into each other, but it's just something we did. So I think that's pretty much all I had to say before we get started on this project. So let's start tearing into this thing. I think I'm just gonna start with the electronics first, get that out of the way, and then we'll do the arms last and see how those look with all the red.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we eating steak, remember sleeping on the floor. We stillin' at the gas station when the time was cold. In the kitchen, hot, still trying to flip it out the stove. Rockin' fake J's, praying that nobody know. Watch them take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. Fight to see the light of day.
Alright guys, so a little bit of a disruption here in the process of this. I completely forgot that the VXL motor shares a completely different motor mounting plate than the XL5. So this motor plate works with this motor, but it's not going to work for the 550 sized one that I'm going to be installing right here. The motor's just way too big for this plate. So I don't have the correct one on hand with me right now. I think Colin may have it somewhere in his RC stuff because this was all his stuff. And he's letting me make videos with all his stuff. So I'm going to have to stop by his house one of these days and get a new motor plate. So I'll put you guys back on when I get the motor plate. And then we can continue working on this project. Alright, so I got the mount that I needed now. This is the one for the brushless motor right here. As you can see, it's a lot bigger to accommodate the larger diameter of the Titan 12 turn that we're going to be installing in the Mini E-REVO here. So I'm going to get back to work installing the new electronics.
I was tired every day, green light, it's time to go. I don't want to live life fast or die too young. Die too young. 100 miles per hour, might crash cause the good die young.
Alright guys, so I just noticed that with the brushed motor, you also, along with the new motor mount, you need to replace the motor plate right here. So good thing I grabbed this whole bag of 1/16 Traxxas parts from Colin, because I believe that the motor plate is right there. So I'm gonna have to swap that out too.
Get a good die on. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Cause I'm coming back home. Right back where I left because I know my people needed me. Diamond in the rough, I don't know what it is they see in me. Go down as a legend in my city cause we beat the streets. Trying to spread the wealth around the block, no I can't keep from me. Told me I should leave. I see the bigger picture and it's way bigger than me. Can't be living like a king, but my people need to eat. If I got it, then you got it, we gon' get back on our feet. And I put it on me. I don't wanna live life fast or die too young. Or die too young. 100 miles per hour might crash cause good die young. But here I come. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Cause I'm coming back home. I'm coming back home. I'm coming back home. Y'all coming back home. Y'all coming back home. I'm coming back home. Y'all coming back. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home.
Alright guys, so just a quick update here before I stop for the night. It's getting pretty late. First of all, the motor does not want to fit. I got the ESC slid out a little bit to make space for it to slide on this peg right here. So the motor's on, but it won't go all the way down, and the pinion gear won't touch the spur gear because it's hitting this shock tower brace kind of thing right here. There's like these standoffs on it that sit pretty high up. So I found this in this bag that Colin gave me of parts. It's a little bit shorter. I'm not sure if it's actually meant for the rear right here, but I'm gonna put this on tomorrow maybe and see how that works. And then I also noticed that I'm going to need to install this gear cover right here I believe. So I'm gonna have to put that on to protect the spur gear. And yeah, I did not really realize at first that there was more to it than just this piece right here. As you guys saw, I had to take off the whole transmission and everything, and while I was in there I just re-greased all the gears. So I'll put you guys back on when I start working on this thing again. Alright, so as you guys just saw, I took off this part for the shocks that holds the top of them into place, and I was looking at the one that I thought would go in it, and they're the exact same piece. It turns out the one that was in there was just mounted incorrectly. It was upside down, so it wouldn't allow the motor to go all the way in, so I just gotta flip it around. That's an easy fix. Alright, so I ended up fixing that, but now the pinion gear won't touch the spur gear I mean, I'm spinning the spur gear with the motor all the way down and it won't touch. And the reason being is because the receiver box is hitting the motor. So I think I just need to put a bigger pinion gear on. I think I may have put a 19 tooth pinion gear on here. So I'm gonna see if I got any bigger ones that are a few teeth bigger, because I think this one is just too small for this RC. I'm not going to bother filming that process since I already filmed putting this one on, so I'll just put you guys back on when the motor is ready to be installed. Alright, so everything is installed. I put so the only batteries actually that I have that would work in this RC is from my WL Toys RC. It's a 2S 2600 milliamp hour pack, and it just required a little bit of trimming on the battery door for the cable, but it does fit and it does work, as you guys can see here. It goes forward and back, left and right and all that. So the E-REVO is back. One thing I'm not really sure what's going on is the servo is very noisy. I don't know if you guys hear that at all, but it makes a lot of noise when it's in like the neutral position, so we're gonna have to see if that lasts. If not, I'm gonna have to get a new one. But yeah, as far as it running and all that, it works really well, and I drove it around the workshop here a little bit, and it does not grind the diff gears, which is a huge accomplishment. I do not think any of you guys really understand how big of a plus that is for me, because these diffs in here are like $80 for both, and they're like smaller than a quarter. So it's just amazing that they do not grind, and hopefully I can keep that way. Now that the E-REVO is back up and running with like power system wise, let's go ahead and start swapping in these RPM A-arms to get the stock ones out of there and not have that anymore. Alright, so I got all the RPM arms on the E-REVO, and it looks really good. Everything works as normal. When I was taking it apart, the old ones at least, I noticed that there were actually 3 broken arms. This one had the complete center section ripped out. This one was broken right here, and then of course this one snapped right there, which was kind of fixed at one point with electrical tape and super glue, it looked like, but that definitely did not hold up. And then I ended up having to replace this whole assembly with another extra one because this pivot ball screw was stripped. So that's everything that I took off the E-REVO, along with all the vanillion stuff and all that. One thing to mention about this motor is, since it's a little bit taller, I'm gonna have to trim up the body a little bit, or actually I may be able just to raise the body posts. I may actually try that first because it does not sit all the way on. I mean, I could get the front ones on, but the back just won't go on because the motor is touching the top of the body right there. So I'm gonna do that right now and put you guys back on once I get the body to fit right. Alright, so the body is all trimmed and it fits really good now. And to get it to fit, I didn't change anything about the front body posts. I put the rear ones all the way up, and then I cut this hole in the body right here for the motor. As you can see, it sticks out pretty good, so I definitely had to do that. And I think it actually looks really clean too like this. The hole is not absolutely perfect by any means, but it does look really good in person, I think. I could probably do a little bit more cleaning up on this top edge, but I think for right now and for what this RC is going to be doing, it's going to be perfect. Plus this body isn't perfect already. I mean, we somewhat kind of messed up with the paint job a little bit, but I mean, overall, it looks really good in my opinion. And the body is pretty easy to get onto. You just have to line up the back clips and then pop the front one in, and then it's all good. This RC has really come together in this video. I like all the red suspension components that I've added today. Plus, it's going to add a lot of durability to this 1/16 E-REVO. You really don't see E-REVOs built like this these days, with the Summit tires and then aftermarket bodies and other things like that to give give it more of an aggressive look. So this one's pretty unique and I really like it. And we're going to add more parts in the future to make it even more unique. I was going to do it in this video, but I'm sure this one's running a little bit long, so we're going to do it in another future video. We're definitely going to take this thing outside soon for its first initial run in probably 2 to 3 years. So with that, this video is effectively over. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, share it with others so I can grow my channel. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.
Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in stone.